Hi, my name is Sydney Phillips. I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I'm a registered nurse. I was diagnosed with FH by accident. I had an Achilles tendon issue that I saw a physical therapist for when I was 14, and after 8 months of physical therapy, nothing was working. So they suggested surgery, and it was actually my orthopedic surgeon that suggested that I get a lipid panel because he saw that I had a family history of sudden cardiac death and early cardiovascular disease, and that's how I found out my cholesterol was over 700. And being a active, young, relatively healthy young woman, it was kind of hard to blame lifestyle and diet on my cholesterol being that high, so it was pretty quickly linked to genetics. So after that, I was put on every statin under the sun. My statin changed about every 3 months. Nothing was working to bring my cholesterol below 400. So in March of 2018, I did genetic testing, and that's how I found out that I had homozygous familial hypercholesterolemia. HoFH was explained to me as I inherited one bad gene from my mom and one bad gene from my dad. And because I have two bad genes, I don't respond to medications as well as somebody who may have inherited only one. My dad was actually diagnosed with FH through my HoFH diagnosis. That time in my life was very scary because my care at that time went from take these statins and you'll be fine to you're gonna have a heart attack or stroke in your 20s if you don't take care of this right now. I immediately began LDL apheresis treatments weekly. I would drive 2.5 hours to the closest apheresis center with my dad. He would sit there with me for 5 to 6 hours, I think is the thing that saved my life. I had never seen the kind of reduction in my LDL as I did when I was getting LDL apheresis. My symptoms of heart attacks and strokes have never been taken seriously. It took me 4 years for a doctor to actually listen to me when I was having every single stroke symptom that you can imagine: facial drooping, left-sided weakness, slurred speech. They thought I got something in my eye and did eye testing on me for 2 hours until I begged for a CT scan, and that's how they found a clot in my eye. So it's been very difficult to get people to understand that even with my complicated cardiac history, that I very well could have a heart attack or a stroke, and people and clinicians don't understand that. The other barrier that I have faced specifically has been with insurance. It's honestly been the hardest thing for me dealing with this diagnosis. The hours and hours and hours on end that I have spent on the phone with my insurance begging to cover the life-saving medications that I need has been heartbreaking for me. Every time I would go to the pharmacy to get it filled, they would try to charge me over $2,000 to get it filled, and I just can't afford that. It's so frustrating as I'm sobbing, begging them to look in my files, look for my prior authorization. It's there. I talked to this, and this person. They told me that I could get my prescription today, and I can't. And it makes me feel like it's taking years off my life. And that's a horrible feeling to have. I am extremely grateful for the aggressive treatment that I received to bring me where I am today. I'm relatively healthy now. I'm very fortunate that I haven't had any serious cardiac events. When I was first diagnosed, it was drilled into my brain that I needed to be prepared to have a heart attack or stroke by the time I was 25. Who likes hearing that? Nobody wants to hear that. And I am 23 years old, and I am very healthy, and my cholesterol is under control, and I believe that I'm gonna live for a long time.